thorough cleaning, scaling, and root planing? Is it on the mesial of the maxillary premolar, proximal of mandibular incisors, trifurcation of maxillary molars, or distal surfaces of mandibular molars? Saan daw mahirap yung root planing? So most of you would think it's on the distal because that's the most posterior teeth, diba? However, if you are to look on the anatomy of the maxillary molar, okay, you would have that area there. And this furcation area here is most of the time pointed like this, okay? So it will not be able to accommodate the blade or the working end of your curette. It would not be able to adapt properly. So the answer here is the trifurcation of your maxillary molars. Letter C. So ganito itsura niya. Ayan na. Mahirap siyang i-adapt. That's why most of the time we perform here furcation plasty. Okay? When you say furcation plasty, you are reshaping the furcation area for it to be able to accommodate the shape of the working end of our curette. Okay? So let's take a look at the anatomy of a posterior tooth. So we have here the crown, of course, and we have here the root complex, okay, or the root, crown and root. This one is the CEJ, demarcating the crown from the root, okay? So in terms of the root complex, it is further subdivided into several areas, okay? The area that is undivided, okay, or the undivided region of the root is your root trunk, wherein the area that is divided, this part here, is your root cone. So you have your root trunk, root cone. Root trunk, undivided, divided are the root cones. Okay. We have here the furcation fornix, or also known as the fornix. Okay. Furcation fornix is the roof of the furcation. It's the roof of the furcation. Okay. And we have two terms, degree of separation and degree of divergence. Sorry, degree of separation or divergence. Okay. So when you say degree of separation, since you have the word degree there, it's talking about angle. Okay. So it's the angle formed. Okay. The angle formed between the two individual root cones. That's your degree of separation. While divergence is the distance. Okay. Distance between the two roots. So you have your divergence here, 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 here. And most of the time, as you go in a more apical direction, divergence would increase. Okay? Divergence increases as you go in a more apical direction, most of the time. Okay? So let's talk about the root trunk now. Okay? So some teeth would have trunk, some teeth would have longer root trunk. Okay, so what's the significance of that root trunk? Okay, let's say the root trunk for this tooth is short. Ganito lang siya. The furcation is located here. Okay, what's the significance of that? So you already know that this part here is covered by bone. Then you have your gingiva here. Diba? So on a teeth that has shorter root trunk, even there's only small amount of bone resorption happening here, then the tooth would now have furcation involvement. Exposed na yung furcation of that tooth. However, for teeth that has longer root trunk, let's say the root trunk is located here, or the fornix is here. So since the bone is here, okay, gingiva is here, even there's some form of bone resorption happening here, less likely to have furcation involvement because you have long root trunk. Okay, so that's the significance of your root trunk, whether it's short or long. Okay, for lower teeth, we have two furcations that we measure. For lower molars, we have the buccal furcation and the lingual furcation. But for the upper teeth, we have three furcation: distal, mesial, and buccal. Okay, so we have three roots here. 3 point of entry: buccal, distal, mesial. And as I have mentioned already earlier, we use the neighbor's furcation probe to measure the neighbor's furcation probe to measure the furcation involvement. So we do not just measure the horizontal bone loss here, the horizontal component. We also measure the vertical component. How much bone ba yung nawala? So we have the vertical component, we have the horizontal component. For the vertical component, we use the classification by Tarnow and Fletcher, if you still remember. Tarnow and Fletcher. While for the horizontal component, we use the classification by Glickman. Diba? Glickman. So try to review your notes on furcation involvement, right? So number 17, gingivectomy is indicated in the following except. So except, if you encounter a question that has except or not, okay, encircle nyo na siya para you don't miss out. Okay? Sometimes kasi hindi siya all caps. Sometimes it's not in bold. Okay? So, encircle nyo na. So, contraindication of gingivectomy. What would be your answer here? Letter A, leukemic gingival enlargement, dilantin gingival enlargement, idiopathic fibromatosis, nifedipine gingival enlargement. So the answer is letter. Isipin ninyo, alin ba yung hindi kayo magpe-perform ng gingivectomy? Pag may leukemia ba si patient, will you perform gingivectomy? No, di ba? Patient is prone to bleeding. Bleeding, there will be poor wound healing on this patient. And gingivectomy is not the treatment of choice here. Okay? So the answer is letter A. Kasi except contraindication, leukemia. Leukemic gingival enlargement. Ganito. Ayan, i-gingivectomy nyo ba siya? Hindi, diba? Takot na yan. Okay? If it's like this, yes. Fibrotic gingiva. Diba? Ganyan yung gums ng patient. Of course, you will not be performing gingivectomy here. Okay? 18. The plaque index of Silnes and Low measures the plaque covering the clinical crown, thickness of plaque, colony-forming units of gram-negative bacteria, weight of plaque obtained from the clinical crown. Iipunin nyo ba? Will you be collecting all the plaque? Ay, sige, let's weigh yung mga nasa fascia. Let's collect all the plaque. Let's weigh those that are in the clinical crown. Of course not. Okay? Will you be checking for the gram-negative here? Less likely. So we have two options only, either A or B. Okay, so that's how you eliminate, okay, when answering multiple choice type of question. So for this one, the answer is letter B, correct? Thickness of plaque at the gingival margin. Thickness of plaque at the gingival margin. So this plaque index by Silnes and Low is abbreviated by as PI, plaque index. Okay. So for this one, what you need to remember is that the plaque is not stained. You don't use this closing solution here. You do not stain the plaque. So the plaque is visualized by air drying. Okay. However, this index is a bit subjective. See, this is the term moderate, heavy, okay, thin. So it's subjective. So if you try to look at the scoring here, this table, score 0, no plaque. Score 1, thin film of plaque. Score 2, moderate amount of plaque. Score 3, heavy plaque accumulation. So it's a bit subjective, especially if there's several dentists who would be doing the plaque index for a certain community. Okay. Number 19. The primary reason for placing a surgical dressing after gingivectomy is, so why do we put surgical dressing or periodontal dressing? You want to prevent bleeding or hemorrhage. You want to stabilize the teeth. Para hindi sila mag-move. Accelerate healing. Retard plaque accumulation. None of the choices. What do you think? Settings.
Is my audio okay now? Or naging okay naman? So, anong type ninyo? Wait lang, let me check. Ayaw mag-open ng messages. So, what did you answer? Can you just type again?
Tipo, Dok.
T.
Tipo.
A. Meron A. What about the others? Apple, boy, cat, dog, egg. Cat. Yung iba. Hindi ko narinig ko. Iba yun. B, A. Kakatunog kasi sila. So, meron E, C. Okay. So, if you still remember, what is the primary reason? Why do we put periodontal dressing? Why is it on some gingivoplasty procedure, some periodontal surgical root planing procedure, we put periodontal dressing. On some surgical procedure, surgical root planing, we don't put periodontal dressing. We want to cover the raw surface, diba? Just like in gingivectomy. If this is the tooth, okay, this is the gums. Diba we're cutting the gingiva here, beveled incision, okay? So after you cut the gingiva here, you're now left with a raw surface. And if you don't cover this with periodontal dressing, what will happen? Will the patient be able to eat properly? The patient will feel pain. Okay? Masakit for the patient. Okay? Okay. Um, may makeup tutorial si Miss Branya. So, masakit for the patient. Okay? So, the primary reason is for patients' comfort. Diba? So that your patient would be more comfortable during the healing process. Okay? So the answer is correct, letter E. None of the choices. So for comfort of the patient, always remember that periodontal dressing does not accelerate the healing. So it doesn't mean that if you put periodontal dressing, the wound would heal in around 2 days or 3 days. Okay, it's the same course of healing. Okay, so putting periodontal dressing will not disturb the healing. However, it's the same length of healing. Okay, so again, for patients' comfort. Letter E, none of the choices. So for comfort of the patient, for avoidance of pain, for promotion of optimal healing, avoid pain that might be induced by close contact with the tongue or with food during mastication. Correct consistency and correct manipulation of surgical dressing is important. So indications, gingivectomy, mucogingival surgery, apically repositioned flap, what else? Modified Widman flap, original Widman flap. Okay, this would indicate periodontal dressing application. However, if you did Kirkland flap or your also known as repositioned flap or the replaced flap. This does not need periodontal dressing application because we are not cutting the gingival collar here. Okay. Hindi natin kinakat yung gingival collar. Alright? 20. Unilateral mastication will tend to result in unilateral mastication. Patients is feeling pain on the left side. The patient tend to chew now on the right side. So what would you be able to see intraorally? Would there be greater accumulation of plaque on the unused side or on the used side? Lagi ba yung ginagamit would have heavy plaque, or the one that's not being used would have heavy plaque deposits? Okay. Would there be heavier and denser bone support on the unused side? Greater degree of periodontal disease on the used side? So we have two choices here. You should only be choosing between letter A or letter C. Okay. So which one do you think is the answer here? More deposits on the used side or on the unused side? On the unused. Remember when you're chewing, diba? Whenever you chew, there is there's friction there. Okay? And if there's friction there, what will happen? You are removing somehow the plaque there. Diba? So there would be greater accumulation of plaque on the unused side. You would see this when you go into your private practice, and when the patient opens their mouth, you would see one side that has heavy plaque and calculary deposit, and most of the time, the tooth there has deep caries lesion. Meaning to say, the patient does not use that side anymore because it's painful for the patient. Okay? So the answer is greater accumulation of plaque on the unused side. Okay? Same as when you go to sleep. Diba? We recommend more brushing before going to sleep because we don't talk, we don't eat. Okay? So what will happen now? There's friction going on inside the mouth. So we need to brush. Okay. 21. During calculus removal, the surface of the root feels smoothest following scaling with. We remove the calculus. Root smoothest. Using a hoe, periodontal files, ultrasonic instrument, periodontal curette. But the curettes are designed to adapt on the root surface of the tooth. So the answer here is letter D. periodontal current. Okay? Nasaan na yung pinapanood ko na wala na siya? Nag-log out na si Miss Branya. Ayan. Pinapanood kita mag-makeup eh. Wala ka bigla. Tapos na, yan na yung finished product. Grad pick mo ba ngayon, Miss Branya? I'm aware that most of you are having their grad picks taken this weekend. Ngayon ka, naka-schedule for grad pick?
Tapos na po, birthday lang po ng kuya ko.
Ah, okay. Okay. So, number 22. The primary difference between gingivitis and periodontitis. Difference between gingivitis and periodontitis is bone infection, lack of stippling, apical migration of the junctional epithelium, depth of pockets, changes in color of the gingiva. When you say bone infection kasi, it's vague. Ano yung osteomyelitis? Diba? It's vague. And also, periodontitis is not limited to bone. Diba? Periodontitis, it's inflammation, itis of the periodontium. And as we have enumerated earlier, we have 4 components of the periodontium. So that's not the answer. So tama, letter C, apical migration of the junctional epithelium beyond the CEJ. If you see this term here, apical migration of the junctional epithelium, it means that if this is your junctional epithelium, what happened? Bumaba yung junctional epithelium. Bumaba yung junctional epithelium. Hence, there's bone loss. Okay? Always remember, if your junctional epithelium goes in a more apical direction, there would be bone loss there. There's always bone loss because you always have that biologic width there, which measures around 2 millimeters. Okay? So we have here the different types of pocket. Okay? So if normally your gingiva is in this level, and yung normal level of the gingiva, and because of the presence of deposits there, your gingiva now became inflamed. What happened now? So since there's inflammation of the gingiva there, one of the cardinal signs of inflammation is your tumor, swelling, increase in size. So there's coronal migration naman. Coronal migration of the pregingival margin. So what type of pocket would you have here? It's a false pocket. So what's the other term for false pocket? It's pseudo pocket. Pseudo pocket. Okay. So once there's already bone loss happening, it's like here and here. Okay. These are now called your periodontal pockets or your true pockets. Okay. So since this is called periodontal pocket, pseudo pockets now is only called your gingival pocket. Okay. Gingival pocket is different from periodontal pocket. Gingival pocket, you don't have attachment loss. You don't have bone loss. These are just pseudo pockets, false pocket. So in true pockets here, we have 2 types as shown here in this picture. The first pocket, the junctional epithelium is located above the alveolar crest. Above the alveolar crest. In the third picture, the junctional epithelium is located below the alveolar crest. And as you already know, when we say above, other term is supra. Another term for below is infra. Diba? So this is above the alveolar crest, above the bone. So that is called your supra bony pocket. This one is below the bone. So infra bony pocket. Okay. So these are the two types of true pockets, your supra bony and infra bony pocket. These are true pockets or periodontal pockets. Okay. 23. Used for mesial surfaces of posterior teeth. So alin din ginagamit sa mesial of posterior. 11, 12. Diba? Sabi natin, if you can make a letter M, that is mesial of posterior. Okay? What about 1, 2, and 3, 4? 1, 2, and 3, 4 are for anterior teeth. Tama. Anterior. What about 9, 10? Posterior, but what surface? Posterior. Buccal and lingual of molar. Okay. 13, 14 is used for, so since 11, 12 is mesial, 13, 14 is distal of posterior. Okay. And we have 5, 6 here. 5, 6 is used for anterior and premolars. Okay, anterior and premolars. What about for universal curettes? See, that's Gracie curettes. Universal curettes now. Which one is used for? Oops, wala. Here. Which one is used for the anterior? Two R2L is correct. Okay, and the ones used for the posterior is 4R4L. Okay. What is the other term for universal curettes? Ang tawag natin sa universal curettes. Columbia. Columbia curettes. Okay. Yeah, universal or Columbia curettes, 2R2L anterior, 4R4L posterior. Okay. Basic curettes, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. So curettes are used to remove plaque. Diba? They are also used to remove calcular deposits. They are also used to remove diseased cementum. What else can be used to remove? What else can be removed using curettes? Periodontal curettes. Granulation tissue. Very good. Granulation tissue. Okay. Para more visible yung area, less bloody yung area. Okay. So granulation tissue, plaque, calcular deposits, diseased cementum. All right. 24. Used for anterior teeth. So choose the best answer because there are several possible answers here. Which one is the best answer? Which one can you eliminate? Which one can be eliminated? Obvious kayo na it's not for anterior. 13, 14, 11, 12, diba? Saka 9, 10 molars. Eh di natila na lang yun. Diba? You know na 11, 12 is mesial of posterior. 13, 14 distal of posterior. This one is also for posterior. So these are for your anterior. 5, 6. It's used for anterior and premolars. Okay? Two, 5 or 25. Scalars. Push stroke, pull stroke, twisting stroke, sewing motion. Pull stroke. When do we use push stroke? When do we use pull stroke? Diba meron yan? First one, you try to locate muna the bottom ng deposit, okay? Where it ends. What do you call that? Stroke. Exploratory. So exploratory is push. Or hindi siya push actually, apical. Okay? You're not pushing the deposit. Then pull stroke is the, what's the other stroke? This one's exploratory. The other one is
Working.
working. Tama, working stroke. Okay? And exploratory, working stroke. (26) Hanggang number 30 lang to. Para ma-motivate kayo. Konti na lang. Okay? 26. Identify the correct statement regarding stippling. Lack of stippling may be considered to be a sign of inflammation if it's known to be present previously. Its absence always indicates presence of inflammation. Stippling cannot be used as a diagnostic sign of gingival inflammation. Its presence always indicates lack of inflammation. Some of you answered C. Some of you answered A. Both are correct, pero which one's the best answer? Best answer is letter A. Diba? Lack of stippling may be considered a sign of inflammation if it's known to be present previously. Okay? Meron kasing premise na if it is known to be present previously. So the answer is letter A. Okay? So that's your stippling, orange peel appearance. It's because of the retepegs. These retepegs. Okay? Mga depression. Okay? Epithelial ridges, as we call it. So we have here the oral epithelium. Okay? We have also the junctional epithelium here. The junctional epithelium. We have the sulcular epithelium. If you look closely in the drawing, okay, which one would contain retepegs? Mali itong drawing, wag pala dyan. Dito kayo tumingin. Which one would contain retepegs here? Is it the oral epithelium, sulcular epithelium, or the junctional epithelium? Retepegs yung ganun are only present where? Meron ba tayo sa sulcular and junctional? It's only present on the oral epithelium. Okay? So for this drawing, you would notice that retipegs are also present in the sulcular epithelium. This happens in the presence of disease, in the presence of inflammation. But in healthy state, retipegs are only present in the oral epithelium. Okay? They're lacking in the junctional and the oral epithelium. 27. Width of attached gingiva is measured from crest of marginal gingiva to mucogingival junction, from gingival margin to base of sulcus to mucogingival junction, CEJ to mucogingival junction. So you're asked for the attached gingiva. So, drawing kayo mabilisan. Second lang. Oh, you know that this is your attached gingiva. So it is bounded by pre-gingival groove and your mucogingival junction. And which one is that? Meron ba? Wala. Di ba? Wala siya dyan. You have the mucogingival junction. Meron dito mucogingival junction, mucogingival junction, mucogingival junction. Okay? This one has no mucogingival junction, so we can eliminate letter B. Okay? So from crest of the marginal gingiva, dito ba? Hindi naman, di ba? So we can also eliminate letter A. You're now left with letter C or letter D. From base of the sulcus to mucogingival junction, CEJ to mucogingival junction. Sometimes your CEJ, drawing natin. Hindi pala. It's below the CEJ. So it's below the CEJ. The junctional epithelium is always below the CEJ. Okay? Your free gingival margin, this one, your free gingival groove, this one, most of the time is at the same level as your junctional epithelium. Most of the time. This free gingival groove here is most of the time at the same level as your junctional epithelium. Okay? So it says here the base of the sulcus to mucogingival junction. Junctional epithelium is also known as your base of the sulcus or base of the pocket. So the answer is letter C. Okay? From base of the sulcus to mucogingival junction. But extraorally, it's from the pregingival groove to the mucogingival junction. So it would help if you draw. Okay? Drawing nyo lang, mabilisan. So, your attached gingiva, okay? We have here adequate and inadequate zone. Okay? When can you say that it's an inadequate zone of attached gingiva? The normal value of your attached gingiva measures around 1 millimeter to 4 millimeter. So if it's less than 1 millimeter, then it's inadequate already. And you can fix that through mucogingival therapy. Okay, or management of gingival recession. Okay. (28) These are grafts which, after placement at the recipient site, maintain their connection to the donor site. It has its own blood supply. So it's the pedicle graft. Okay? Yung mga ginaganon. Pedicle graft. May picture ba? Ayan. Pedicle graft. This one is your free graft. It does not have its own blood supply. Okay? This one has its own blood supply. In terms of healing, tertiary intention. Healing through the use of tissue graft. 29. A tissue graft between individuals of the same species, but not identical. Same species, but not identical. May donor ka. It's allograft. Tama, allograft. If it's identical, what do you call it? Like identical. Identical twin. That is iso. Okay. If you are the donor and you are also the recipient, you call that autograph. Okay. Autograph. And which among these, gawin natin yung alloplast. Which among these 4 graphs here would require anti-rejection medication? Letter A, isa lang. B, A and B, alloencina. Okay, this one does not require anti-rejection medication. All right. Xenograft, for those of you who don't remember, it's from animal to human. Okay, animal yung donor mo to be transferred to human. Last number for this morning, a material that, ano daw? A material that acts as a structural framework for bone growth. Material that acts as structural material for bone growth. So letter osteoconductive. Structural framework, scaffold. Okay, so the answer is letter A, osteoconductive. So we have here osteoproliferative or osteogenic, genesis. Okay, so meaning to say vital osteoblasts from the bone graft contribute to new bone growth. So these are materials that directly provide cells that will produce bone. Okay. Osteoconductive, on the other hand, these are materials that acts as a structural framework for bone growth, to scaffold. And lastly, you have your osteoinductive. Okay, these are materials that contain factors that stimulate bone growth and induction of stem cells. Okay, so those are the definition. So in terms of their properties, we have here alloplast, xenograft, allograft, autograft. So autograft has all properties: osteoconductive, osteoinductive, and osteogenic, same as in your isograft. Isograft would also have osteoinductive, osteoconductive, and osteogenic. All right. It says here, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. So before you decide to take the board exam, I'm sure a lot of you are very excited to take the board exam. Assess nyo muna yourself. Are you ready to take the board exam? Hindi pwedeng try lang, di ba? Try ko lang, Doc. Baka pumasa, di ba? So make sure you're ready. Make sure you prepared. You reviewed. Okay? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions on the topic? Okay. This afternoon, we will be continuing our discussion on perio pa rin. Okay. I have another set of questions here. Are you taking screenshots of the? You should take screenshots because for most of you, this will be some of the questions will be listed from here. Uh, Final exam on Wednesday. We'll be taking a final exam on Wednesday. Okay? I have prepared assessment. Okay, periodontal assessment on perio. I have actually prepared four. I published four last night. However, I'm thinking of just giving you two assessments. Okay, so I won't be giving the assessment for this morning muna. Okay, baka kasi ma-perfect na yung final exam. Kasi yun yung questions. Okay, so I'll give the assessment this afternoon. Okay, I'll be giving the assessment this afternoon. It's the same question, the ones that you answered in the quizzes. Okay, there are just some questions that I added. Okay, um, this afternoon I will be discussing on item analysis number 2. Let me just check. So these questions here are from the past PRC board examination. Okay, the one that I was doing yesterday, I was finishing last night, was from saan ba? Perio. Dental Licensure Exam 2024. I have the Dental Licensure Exam 2025 November, pero I don't know if I can finish this. Kasi yesterday, it took me the entire day to finish the PowerPoint. So I'll try to finish this one. Okay. Anyway, if I won't be able to discuss that tomorrow, attend na lang kayo next. Ay, kaso pala, the board exam is given before the lecture of Perio, just like this semester, this time. Same board exam nila. Then we just had our Perio review. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I just include what I would be able to finish. Okay. I need to talk to the following students. Miss Macalia, are you here already? She's not attending. Pati sa Anis last time, she's also not attending. So, Mr. Butcon, are you here? Please stay. Shine. Zhu Yifeng.